Yep.
First, I'll introduce myself. I'm the construction director for government, so I report to Cabinet Office and Treasury, but I'm not here in my capacity working for government. I run all of the construction projects, the big projects across government, and have an input into them. I also got back from Tuesday from the Virgin Islands, which I've been involved with since 2017, when it was hit by Irma, and then 14 days later it was hit by Maria. 85% of the infrastructure was wiped out, and we're looking at rebuilding the island there, stronger, greener, and smarter. And I also have projects like the refurbishment of Buckingham Palace and building a new wharf down in Antarctica for the RSS Sir David Attenborough. Some people call it Boating at Boatface, but not what we call it. And I suppose what I'm trying, having come up a bit later, is to support what Caroline and Alex are saying is, this is complex. If you look at this diagram here, it talks about what are we talking about when we talk about carbon? Because there's the carbon in the building that we build, there's the carbon that we use when we our emissions, and then there's carbon when we knock it back down again. So the whole cycle within a building is quite complex. And what I want to see is a plan. Because if you don't have a joined up plan, and I think Caroline was alluding to that, then it's really like going up Scotland in a pair of training shoes, hoping that when you get to the top of a mountain, that the weather will be nice when you get there, but you don't have a map. So for me, I would like to see a map of what we are going to do here in Oxford, with those kind of risks, benefits, and then hold people to account. Because if you don't have something to hold people to account for, then you're just doing things knee-jerk. And someone who does major projects, believe you me, I've seen lots of projects which have started badly, and guess what? They've all ended badly. So this one. Is it just the right? So here you look at this, whole life cycle approach. Everything from electricity, hydrogen, land use, aviation, waste, greenhouse gas, infrastructure falls down here, and then co-benefits. So it is complex. We can't look at buildings in isolation. We have to look at what they do elsewhere. And there's a huge behavioural aspect to this. If you're going to be a net zero city, it requires net zero citizens. People, you know, things that we can do is turn temperature down. As you heard, a lot of it is about heating rooms. If you turn thermostats down, that helps. If you change your behaviours, if you ask yourself, why must you drive your 4x4 to school when your kids could probably cycle there, all of that matters. And then finally, I'll show you this, and there's a report that's come out, I've given a copy of it, came out last week, but actually says the best way to reduce carbon is not to build. To use your assets that you have in a better way. The next way is build less. Quite simple. And if you look along the bottom, what it says is, in the planning stage, that is the best time to start looking at this. So if you leap to doing something, a knee-jerk, as somebody's mentioned, panels, solar panels, or if you ban all the cars from the city centre, what you've got to ask yourself is, where does that carbon go? What do I actually have achieved, apart from banning all the cars from the city centre? And we have to look at unintended consequences. One of the other projects I work on is Grenfell. Grenfell was a tragedy, but actually the cladding on there was part of the work to insulate the building. It was done as part of the Green Deal. And God forbid we ever do a knee-jerk reaction without a plan, without a joined-up one, looking at what other people are doing on our boundaries, whether it's Bicester and the eco-village out there. But let's look at those unintended consequences. Let's have thought about it carefully. Let's have tested it. And you need some people who are naysayers to come in and say that'll never work. And then once we have a plan, let's hold people to account for that plan.